You ever wonder how some folks can afford to do what they do in the hobby? With the cost of singles going into the four digits on up, with the cost of a hobby box doubling and tripling in price, with looming threats of tariffs right around the corner, all of this stuff has got me thinking. Google says that the average annual income for a US citizen is just over 66,000. And I'm here to talk to you today about two things that I'm challenged with, and perhaps you are too. Let's talk about it. You ready? Then let's do it. Well, hey, hello and welcome. My name is Victor. Thank you for tuning in. And you ever felt like you're being pulled in like 100 different directions? That has been a consistent lifestyle of mine for many, many years now. Raising five kids, working full-time job. Many of those years I was involved in management and just the day-to-day operations of running a department. And I'm heavily involved in ministry at my local church. And there are just times where I feel like I am being pulled in 100 different directions all at the same time. And there always seems to be this big challenge of time and money. And it's forcing me to make big decisions that I don't know if I'm wanting to take or needing to take. And I'm hoping to get your advice at the end of this. For me, it seems to be the challenges of time and money. When I have the time, I don't have the money. And when I've got the money, I don't have the time. And if I've got both, well, now things get really chaotic. And so some might say, hey, we've all got the same 24 hours in a day. And I get that and agree with that because it's logical. For me, it's typically between 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. I am sleeping. That's my 6 hours of sleep that I typically get a day. Between 5 and 6 a.m., I'm getting ready for work. By 6 a.m., I am out the door to go to work. And by the time I get home with commute, I'm looking at being home around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So now that leaves me a 7 hour window between 4 and 11 p.m. to do everything that I need to do with my collection, with my eBay store, with my content creation, with my podcast creation, and most importantly, being a husband and a father. So now I have to take all of these things and I have to prioritize them. Some things are non-negotiable. Some things are, my wife gets home around 5:30 in the afternoon because she works also. Well, it's one of them things where now this is family time. So now between 4 and 5:30, I do what I need to do. But at 5:30, when my wife gets home, it's family time, and that includes, helping with dinner, eating dinner together, spending quality time together as a husband and wife on the daily is very important to us. And we might call our one of our kids, or one of our kids may call us, and after dinner, we're kind of talking to our kids over the phone. We are cleaning up the mess from cooking dinner, all this sort of thing. And we'll sit down to watch the news. And my wife typically goes to bed at 8 o'clock. So, okay, from 5:30 to 8 p.m. is family time. Now that leaves me between 8 and 11, or typically about 10:30, to go back to doing what I need to do. So the challenges with time and money are like constantly present. Let's take my home renovation, for example. This thing, I had allotted a certain amount of money for this. I ended up being about $5,000 short for this project. So I had to do the shell game and shuffle some things around in order to make this project complete. Also, I've got the National right around the corner. It's March. I believe in preparing for the National starting in March. It's how I typically do it. I don't want to go to the National with $1,000. I want to go to the National with a few $1,000s. I want to go to the National with as much money as I possibly can. And so here lies the challenges that I face as a collector, as a content creator: time and money. And I have a very modest eBay store that I started about 18 months ago. And thankfully, with the help of 1 Million Cubs and the help of Ty Wilson, I've been able to learn the ropes. And I have a respectable eBay store. And I've learned the tricks of the trade, and I do well. I do very well on eBay, actually. My problem is time. There just isn't enough time in the day to source inventory and to get it listed and shipped and listing. And the challenges that I have with my eBay store is time. It is eBay can be very successful if I am consistently doing what I'm supposed to be doing to make it successful. The moment that I back off of it, well, there goes my sales. My sales start to decline. So it's like this constant feeding of the eBay thing to in order to make money. And so it's difficult to buy a collection because then you got to go through that collection and you got to filter out all this stuff. And the time that it takes you to do that, well, now you have 15 other things you got to do. So it's very, very challenging to operate an eBay store and have any success at it if you don't have the time to be consistent. And so that leads me to having inventory issues. I don't have the time to go through. I have two collections that I bought like 5 years ago. They're still sitting there. I have not had the time to go through these collections. And it's, I know there's not much in there, and I just don't want to take the time to go through it all. I can probably pluck out enough to get my money back that I have into it, but just the time is not there. Also, allowance. I give myself a monthly allowance or every 2 weeks allowance from my paycheck, and that gets transferred into my account for cards and whatever. And so a lot of times I find myself, having to use the money that I have allotted for cards. I have to use it for business things, business needs, or the subscription to StreamYard. You have all these subscriptions in order to create content, but all of that stuff costs money. And it's one of them things where, and I don't know the salaries of some folks, and it's really none of my business, but I don't know how some folks do it. My reality, anyways, is I can only use about $400 a month on average from my paycheck for my card account. And I wish I can do more, but I can't. And I'm thankful that I at least get to do that. So, and I say all of that to say this, is that I absolutely hate selling cards. I hate that I have to have an eBay store. I wish I did not have to. I wish I did not have to put the time and invest the effort into an eBay store, but unfortunately I do. So I say all of that to say this. I am wanting to consolidate my collection. It's just funny with all of this DOG, which is the Department of Government Efficiency, and where they're really deep diving, nitpicking into things, getting into the weeds with how are we spending? What are some of the things that perhaps there's waste, where we're wasting time, where we're wasting finances, where we're not being efficient at what we're trying to do. And that got me kind of wondering about my department of card efficiency. And so it gets me, and I've been chewing on this for over a year now, and that is, should I just go ahead and consolidate this mountain of cards that I have that I don't have the time to do anything with, and just get rid of it all in a bulk sale, and just let somebody else who has time, let them go through them collections and maybe thin out some of the cardboard that I have here in the house. And I've got a slew of slabs that I have been, now that I am back downstairs and I'm kind of bringing my collection all together. And I've really been kind of looking at my cards, and I'm going to show you a few pictures here so you can kind of get a grasp of what I'm talking about. First thing I did was I looked at my PSA set registry. Now, if you know me very well, you know that I love me some PSA set registry. Well, unfortunately, I looked at my PSA set registry, and this is the dashboard. And unfortunately, I have these numbers where you see active items is skewed, because I have, in the last 18 months, I have any PSA slabs that I've gotten, I have not been entering them into the inventory. Why? Because of time. I just don't have the time. Certain things have to be let go for more important things. And so now this number is actually skewed. It's probably a little closer to 900 slabs that I have. And so I'm looking at these things and I'm looking at what's really important to me as I look through my inventory. Well, I can tell you that what's most important to me are the set registries that I work on because they're the cards that mean the most to me. And so, as you see here, I got three complete sets and I have seven of them that are incomplete. And so, I'm figuring that as the Department of Card Efficiency, these are these set registries have to be a priority. And so, what did I do? I brought out an 8-foot fold out table and I started looking at some of my cards. And here's what I found. This stack, this is not part of the set registry. These cards, they are not in any set registry, but they are in my inventory. These are cards that I want to keep. I went through all my slabs and I am keeping everything that's involved with a set registry. But on top of that, this stack of cards here are cards that I want to keep. Next are the cards that I'm going to sell as I filtered through almost 900 slabs of cards. I've created two piles, one that I'm going to keep, one that I'm going to sell. This pile right here are cards that really don't fit into any set registry. They're cards that I really don't have any interest in. And here's what I was doing for a lot of years. I was in the beginning, I always felt like I didn't want to spend money on tens. I figured PSA nines were good enough. And I bought a ton of cards from the 80s and 90s that are typically PSA nines. And that to me, it just when I look at these cards, they don't do it for me. You know, it's something like if I would let go of these cards, it would not be a very big deal to me. So, since I'm struggling with inventory issues and I don't have time to go through collections, I'm just going to, I believe, I'm going to consolidate these cards and I'm going to start selling them off little by little in my eBay store. But I can tell you that I'm conflicted about it. And here's where I would think, I ask your advice as my viewing audience. How do you feel about consolidating your collection? Is it something you think should I just hold off, do what you got to do? What's your take on have you ever consolidated your collection? Have you ever just gotten rid of a big portion of it in order to take your collection to the next level or plan for something bigger and better? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know. Also, on a few housekeeping notes as I close out this video, I have been struggling. I have this humongous space down here, and I have never been much for hanging stuff on the wall. So I have a lot of challenging things. Again, time and money, but the challenge is filling up these walls with stuff. And the problem is that there's a lot of wall space. I mean, this entire basement, it's like an entire house. How do you decorate all these walls? I'm sure you guys have plenty of stuff. Some of the videos I see, some of you guys' rooms are just phenomenal. It's like there isn't even a square inch of space to hang anything else up. I don't know how you do it, but I have never been one to hang up any like cards on the wall or anything like that. I guess I'm at that point in life where I'm going to have to decide what I want to do here. Also, I wanted to say that I am using Final Cut Pro to edit this video. It is a software program that helps me edit. For those of us who use Apple product, I used iMovie for the last 5 years. I have mastered iMovie, but what I've noticed is that now iMovie is very limited as far as what it allows me to do. Final Cut Pro is a step above iMovie, and it gives you a lot more bells and whistles. So I've got a whole new editing software to to learn. And I'm wondering, would love to know, what do you guys use to edit videos, or what's your process? What do you use? Do you just use straight StreamYard, or do you use some type of editing software? I would love to know. Leave me a comment below. Also, leave me a comment down below about consolidating cards. What do you think? Have you ever done that? Also, really excited about a new YouTube feature that they're going to allow for your videos to be dubbed in different languages. I think there's like 7 languages that the videos are going to be dubbed into that specific language. So that's going to be very, very interesting as far as the future of YouTube and how it's going to look. I think it's going to open up a world of opportunity. I know I get a ton of people from different countries always commenting in my videos and reaching out via email and asking questions. And I love when it's so exciting when you get questions from people from Spain and Poland and Germany and from like all over the world. And I'm just glad that they're doing this. I think it's a good move for all of us. Also, shout out to my daughter. She owns a company she started called the Soulful Company Embroidery. She created this embroidery for me on this sweater for my birthday as a birthday gift, and I'm grateful. Just wanted to give her a shout out in her new venture in her business. I'm very proud of her. She does some great, beautiful work here, guys. You can check her out on Instagram, on Facebook, and just you can see some of her work. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, reach out to her and support her in that. Well, listen, that's going to be it, my friends. And listen, don't forget, not all rookie cards are created equal. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe everything you see out there, because they plaster that rookie card logo on everything. And I've been doing a couple of videos where I haven't been talking about rookie cards, and I'm starting to get the itch. So be sure that I'm going to be coming out with some new rookie card content soon. Until next time, my friends, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.